Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the City of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara?
All right, good evening, councillors. Welcome to the Strategy and Services Committee meeting. I declare the meeting open at 7 p.m. We'll start with the attendance record, and I've got apologies from Councillor Arifi and Councillor Bayani, and it looks like everyone else is present. So we'll move on to item 2, confirmation of minutes, with a recommendation that the minutes of the Strategy and Services Committee meeting held on the 12th of May 2026 be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings. Councillor Onyuzans.
Move the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Smiljanek.
Happy to second. No need to speak.
Thank you. Does anyone have any changes to the said minutes? No, if not, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And those against? Declare it carried. Move on to item 4, declarations of interest. Are there any? Oh, sorry, item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any? No. If there are no declarations of interest, we'll move on to item 4, deputation and representations, which are nil. So we'll move on to item 5, but before we go to item 5.1, we will just move forward item 6.1, which is a presentation on the 2026-27 annual business plan and budget consultation feedback, as that will help us make subsequent decisions. So, Ms. Sagili, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I was going to say, you can probably tell I'm not Luke. I'm Shannon. I'm Acting Senior Manager for Community Engagement Experience. So tonight we'll quickly go through the engagement process that we undertook as a part of the draft business plans, have a look at the high-level approach, the feedback, and also we'll take you through the changes that have been made to the draft plans as to what you have now in your council agenda this evening. Also in your council agenda you do have obviously the full What We Heard report from the engagement, so we won't run through all of that in detail. We'll look at the high-level summary of the feedback that we've received. The purpose of our engagement process, which you can see on the screen, was really about, number one, raising awareness. We wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to participate and that our community understood the general direction of the plans for the year ahead. We also wanted to provide plenty of opportunity and different ways for the community to actually then feed into that process, so being the second objective of consulting with our community. So we undertook that engagement between April and May with the public hearing that we had here on the 26th. How did we do it? Well, it's good to know that we followed the approach that was endorsed by councils, so you can see the range of tactics on the screen there. The objectives of those is really about, as we said before, raising awareness, so making sure there were plenty of ways for people to understand that the process was being undertaken, and also providing opportunities for people to share their feedback. So whether that was via survey, via phone, via email, or even by writing in via email or hard copy. So what did we learn? The first measure we look at is community awareness, and this is a really important one because without being aware you can't have your say. So we really focus on making sure that a broad cross-section of our community understands that the process is being undertaken. We're really comfortable with the numbers that we're seeing there, so that's a strong reach in terms of the community that we actually were able to make aware. Diving a little deeper, the next measure that we look at is who are those people who actually wanted to find out a little bit more or to actively understand a little bit more about the plans. We look at a couple of different measures there, the first one being document downloads on our engagement hub, and we also directly ask people, so have you read the plans? And it's great to know that the majority of people who participated in the engagement had read the plans. It's always a great place to start. What we then see is, out of all of those people who were aware, who wanted more information, how many people actually went on to provide a submission, and we have 51 total submissions there. We're really comfortable with that number. That's very consistent with what we see over previous years of engagements, and it's also really common for particularly business plan engagements to have a high level of awareness, but then people not necessarily moving on to have their say. So really comfortable with where that data is sitting. If If we have a look at where those responses came from, what we can see here is that the number one area for responses was from the Virginia area, and we'll see that reflected in the major themes that came out of the engagement as well. So over and above, the most responses coming from that area of our community. Another measure that we look at is the general level of support. So we directly ask people whether they strongly agree or strongly disagree with the plans overall. What we can see that this is painting a picture of really general overall support for the plans out of those people who responded. So the key themes, I might just set aside key theme number 2 that came out, and we'll just look at 1, 3, 4 and 5. They're really common themes that we receive through a lot of our engagements, so they're really consistent with what we know is really important to our community. Roads, traffic and growth infrastructure, people consider it council's role to continue to invest in those areas, and that is the feedback that we receive through this process. Recreation facilities, again, support for council to invest in recreation facilities to provide young people with opportunities for things to do. We also had a couple of suggestions for different types of facilities through this engagement. Footpaths, accessibility and active transport, as you know, it's how we get around and how we move around the city, so not uncommon to hear that as a piece of feedback. And rates affordability, that's a perennial subject that we receive feedback on, particularly through the business plan process. And if you consider the cost of living narrative more broadly in society, it's not a surprise that's there. Odgers and O'Loughlin Road, that actually was a localised topic that came through. So that's obviously reflected in the high number of responses that we received from that area of our community. The sentiment coming from the people who provided that feedback was really a level of dissatisfaction with the short to medium term proposal that's in the annual business plan, and there was suggestions and a desire to see a longer term and detailed design approach to that project. So overall, nothing super surprising coming out of our engagement for this year. There's no big surprises in the data. Very comfortable with the consistent level of participation that we received. We know that there was broad awareness with a smaller number of people choosing to formally make a submission. Of those who did make a submission, there was general support for the plans, and those themes that we've seen are really common in terms of what we know to expect from what matters to our community. So knowing all of that, it's a bit of a pause for discussion or questions. Is there anything out of that information that you think warrants further consideration for discussion or input? Okay, we'll quickly move on. Changes to the plans. Couple of administrative items. So we've had the addition of the Mayor and CEO forward on page 5, and there's been some updates to some of the milestones in the project milestone table. In relation to the road reseal program, the 4 locations on the screen have actually been postponed. What we've identified is that there's some third-party development works occurring in the vicinity of those road reseals, so it makes more sense to postpone them for a future year when those works are completed. Conversely, we've added 4 locations in, and we've brought those forward from 27-28. Just makes more sense to align them with the road reseal program that's occurring in the year ahead. And the very common change that we see every year is that we've received additional data from the Valuer General, so there's been that rate revenue movement as well. Any questions on those? Nope. What's next? Your agenda item to consider the plans is coming up. You'll then take that through to council next week. In terms of the What We Heard report, we'll close the loop with community, so we'll provide that on our Engagement Hub website, and we'll share that with our connected community database as well. Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. All right, we will now move on to item 5.1 on page 6, titled Adoption of the 2026-27 Annual Business Plan and Budget. Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the staff recommendation, but with a couple of additions, please, a couple of amendments.
What were those amendments?
Yep, to paragraph 1 and paragraph 3. as is on the screen there. At the end of paragraph 1, subject to the following amendment, that Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road, Virginia, be added to the list of new projects for 26-27 to undertake project definition and planning and design. And paragraph 3, subject to the following amendment, inclusion of funding for the planning and design of Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road, Virginia, comprising a capital budget of $390,000 and an operating budget of $32,000, noting that this amendment will be funded by growth and does not impact the council's structural surplus position.
Thank you, Councillor. Do you wish to speak to that?
Yes, I do. All right, thank you. So I'd like to say very broadly at the outset that this budget is financially prudent. It strikes the right balance between the funding of existing services and new services and projects. So a rate rise of 3.5% is financially prudent. No one here wants to increase rates. However, this is the fastest growing council with 10 additional people coming into the City of Playford each and every day. And us, as such, we've got to make difficult decisions. And those decisions usually are around growing pains, growth. In considering the budget, I've also had a close look at community feedback. The What We Heard report shows that a number of residents have expressed deep concern that detailed design was not included in the budget for Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road of Virginia. Councillors will remember that residents provided deputations to this effect in December of last year and again at the most recent Ordinary Council meeting in May. In addition to this, councillors may recall that a petition came to Council at the start of this term, and that in response to this petition, Council staff produced a report that provided concept designs for the reconstruction of Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road with initial costings. In other words, residents' concerns are not new, and this is a matter that residents have been raising with us for at least the last 4 years. I want to thank Councillors Marsh, Kerrison, Onyazans, Norris and Craig, who have either come to the location to consider it with open minds, to meet with residents, or have broadly discussed it with me. I also wish to thank and acknowledge Councillors Vanderpeer and Arifi, who's not here tonight, for moving and seconding a motion earlier this year that asked the Council to consider detailed design in this year's annual business plan. I now ask that you support the residents of these roads by voting in favour of this motion so that these dangerous roads can be upgraded as soon as possible. And that's what these roads are. Dangerous. Make no mistake, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Both roads connect Virginia Grove to the main street of Virginia, including the primary school and the shopping centre. These roads have become a main thoroughfare. They are also well below national road standards in terms of their width. For those councillors that have been out there, you know that two cars cannot pass parallel to each other, and that residents and children have to step off onto the verge because the road is simply not up to standard. For those of you that are concerned about the financial implication to the budget, I'd like to assure you that the inclusion of this amendment does not alter the budget. I've worked with our CEO on this motion. There is no impact on the budget's bottom line. The cost of undertaking detailed design is approximately $390,000, with an operating cost of around $32,000 per year. Importantly, these costs are already built into the budget from forecasted growth in areas such as Anglevale and Virginia itself. The Council's structural surplus, therefore, does not change by supporting this amendment. The proposed rate rise does not change. All that we are doing is prioritising a road that is dangerous. I also would like to remind councillors that the council administration, under delegation, approved the development at the end of Odgers Road that will bring online an additional 105 allotments. That's somewhere between an additional 105 to 210 motor vehicles to the roads each and every day, and each of those roads has to go through Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road that are dangerous. There are houses being constructed there right now. As Odgers Road resident, Peter Sekafine said at the May 2026 Ordinary Council meeting, quote, "This is simply not about roads, it's about protecting families, supporting future growth responsibly, and ensuring that critical infrastructure keeps pace with the community it serves." If this measure passes tonight, this council is not committed to immediate construction, but it means that the council will be ready to undertake construction in the future, particularly in the event that future road grants become available. Nobody here denies that these roads need to be upgraded, that they are not up to standard, and that they are potentially dangerous. Another Odgers Road resident, Catherine Hunter, said it best when she made the following comments during her deputation at the May 26 Ordinary Council meeting, quote, "We all should be able to send our children to school without fear of them being hit by a car, and one thing is certain, it won't be a matter of if, it will happen, but when." Let's show our residents that we are genuinely listening to their concerns, and let's support this motion. Thank you.
Councillor Kerrison, are you wishing to second?
Yes, I'm happy to second that.
Do you wish to speak?
Just briefly, look, I think Councillor Antoulis has said it very well. I have been out there on a couple of occasions, and with respect to the administration, I know it's a difficult choice to choose between what needs to be done. But when I'm standing there firsthand, I really struggle with what I see. I see a new development that's going to supply 105 homes, plus the other two developments coming online there very shortly as well. So that's potentially, I believe it's in the order of 300 houses potentially coming online. I see this new road, the new development, you know, standard width, looks nice, 2 cars can pass comfortably, then it comes into a bottleneck, which is Odgers Road, and you're down to, I've stepped it out, it's approximately 4 metres, all right, and as Councillor Antoulis said, 2 cars can't pass. Cars got to pull onto the sides of the roads, which if your kids are going to school or people are walking, it is a danger. Then you've got rubbish bin day, rubbish trucks. So look, I do see something, and while I haven't seen all the projects we've got on hand, I look at this and it's just something that glares and says something that needs to be done, all right? So we're not committing to doing the project, but what Councillor Antoulis has put forward there is design, which does allow for funding. So I think for me, if it's being funded from growth, it's got, you know me by now, I'm concerned about the rates, but if it's not having a rate impact, it's being funded by growth, I think it's the right thing to move forward and do. So I'll support that. Thank you.
Councillor Baker.
Thank you. A question, Madam Chair. I'm aware of the moment that this is not currently in the annual business plan, and in view of the comments made earlier this year regarding capacity, I ask the question, does this mean that another project will have to be delayed in the planning stage to accommodate for this?
Mr. Culhane.
Through the Chair, thank you for the question, Councillor. I can confirm that this won't take precedent or priority over another project in the annual business plan. It will be done concurrently.
Councillor Smiljanic.
Thank you, Presiding Member. I just have a question for staff with regards to on page 59 and the current safety measure stating that this project will deliver short to medium term safety improvements on Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road, Virginia, to be developed in consultation with the community. Can I confirm that that will stay as is? Are you still, if we were to have this motion carried, what effects would that have on that short to medium term solution?
Mr. Culhane.
Through the Chair, thank you for the question, Councillor. As that still exists in the annual business plan and budget, staff will still deliver on that. And as you read out, we'll be consulting with the local community in regards to developing that safety measure.
Wonderful, thank you.
Councillor Craig.
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. I support the motion. I think, given especially the community feedback we got, these are the ones that took the trouble to come here and present and tell the real story of the real issues there. Obviously, it's a main thoroughfare to the school. Also, it's used by children every day. So it's an accident waiting to happen every day, as the road is really not up to national standards, very narrow. Obviously, the car's moving onto the verge, as we've heard. That just sounds like it's very risky right now. Only a matter of time before there's a tragic accident, which would be an awful thing. And given also the fact that there's no impact on the budget from this amendment, it's the detailed design, so at least we're shovel ready if funding comes through. We'll be ready to seize that opportunity. And for me, the big factor is the people actually came here and spoke to us, you know. It takes a lot of gumption to come and address the council and put their case and tell their real concerns. And obviously they're the ones who had the most concern to come and address us. So I think we really need to listen to the community and take that action.
Councillor Smiljanic, do you have another question?
Yeah. Thank you, Presiding Member. I just have a question to staff with regards to the costing with regards to the capital budget and the operating budget. By having those figures there, does that perhaps restrict the staff from their left and right of arc of being able to plan and design this particular Odgers Road and O'Loughlin Road? Does it restrict too much, or is there scope to perhaps broaden that just for this particular amendment?
Mr. Culhane.
Through the Chair, thank you for the question again, Councillor. I guess what we've provided is our best estimate based on previous projects. By moving this amendment, council staff will have a budget of $390,000 to deliver the planning design. If we do need additional budget, we will come back to council for that.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Look, I don't think I'm going to say anything that hasn't already been said. I just wanted to put my support behind this amendment. I was invited out there to have a look and had to personally drive down the road myself the other day. Very conscious of the fact that there are cars going both ways and the width is quite narrow, and even turning around the corners and just being very conscious of what's on the road and what's around you. It almost seems like a real contrast of like a tale of two cities, but in the same area. On one hand, you've got this narrow street, no drainage, lots of water pooling. You know, you almost feel a bit concerned going off onto the side of the road just to move over. And then you look, you know, 2 steps away and you've got curbing, you've got beautiful, nice new streets, and understandably it's a new area coming in. We don't know exactly, well, we know around 105 houses. Most households these days, 2, 3, 4 cars. We don't know exactly what that impact is going to be, but we do know that they are going to use these roads. So I think it really does come down to community safety. It comes down to something we probably should have done a long time ago. And I think Councillor Rentoulis has done his homework and has presented you something to show, okay, bottom line, it's not going to impact rates, it's not going to impact the surplus. I think we just need to get it done.
Councillor Onuzans.
Thank you, Presiding Member. So I had the opportunity to see the area, And to me, it was screaming, yes, we need help here. And I actually had the opportunity to speak with a couple who's just in front of them is where the water actually pools when there's a big pour in that area. So having been heard all what everyone has said to us tonight, I think it makes sense that we support the amendment that is before us. It really needs some attention. Really good attention with regards to this request from the members of the community. So yeah, I will support this.
Councillor Smil-Janik, I'm assuming you have another question? No, my apologies, you can speak.
Thank you. This is to speak about the annual business plan, because the last 2 times I spoke were 2 questions. I just wanted to, aside from the amendment, I wanted to thank staff for putting together a very comprehensive annual business plan. It was very well written. It has a lot of information that, and I've got comments here that just saying that it's great, simple language. It does bring it down. It simplifies what we're giving to our community, what we're able to provide. And I think the council have been listening to us as elected members as well as to what it is that we can provide to our community, to our residents, of what the council plans to do for the next financial year. So well done to the team.
Does anyone else have any other comments or questions? Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I just want to reiterate a statement about that it's about time that we curb the trend. We curbed the trend when our staff, by the planning rules that they follow, agreed to increase the residential population of this council. And as a result, we need to draw a line in the sand to start upgrading or planning sufficiently the infrastructure around new growth areas. Yes, we've got 3 probably pillars that we need to address. We've got the older areas that we put in probably $20 million a year in renewal. Fantastic, we need to keep that up. We've got the current backlog of unfunded, under-delivered growth connections between townships and our urban areas. But at the same time, every year we keep chasing our tails in and around a circular motion. And I think this gives us an example right now that development that is yet to be delivered on this road, we can demonstrate to our council that we're going to move in line with the growth through planning, through funding, and then through construction. This is not a 1-year program, it's not a 2, and it could be a 3-year program, but this is what the community has clearly been asking for. When we choose to approve residential or commercial in this city of Playford, because we are following the state government's planning laws, we need to take action in some sort of capacity to deliver the associated infrastructure that links straight to that new estate. At some point in time, this chamber needs to start curbing the trend, and I think this is the start. Let's stop putting the projects on this massive wait list that we have, and if that means we've got to slow down some of those projects that currently haven't been delivered, that's okay. I'm happy to go at this approach because we are clearly listening to what our community is asking, and I've said this again, at some point we need to stop chasing our tails. It is clear, it's precise, and this chamber can be the one to take that action, and I'll support this motion. Thank you.
Is anyone else wishing to speak to the recommendations with the changes? If not, Councillor Rentoulis, you have the right to close if you wish.
Yes, very briefly, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for my fellow councillors, those of which have indicated that they'll be supporting the motion. A couple of very quick points to summarise. Councillor Baker asked the very appropriate question. Will this take precedence over any other priorities? The response from Mr Colquhoun was no, it will not take precedent or priority. It will run concurrently. And in relation to the safety measures that are currently in the budget, staff will still go to the residents and consult with them. They will make a decision in addition to our staff. The conversations that I've had with them are that they're not interested in those safety measures. They want detailed design as quickly as possible. So I invite you to support this. It's a matter of listening to the residents and just getting on with the job. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. I'll put that to a vote. So all those in favour? And those against? I declare it carried. A division was called by Councillor Rentoulis. So all those voting for the motion, please raise your hands. So that is everyone. Thank you, councillors. We'll move on to item 5.2 on page 208, and that is the adoption of the 2026-27 long-term financial plan. We have a staff recommendation on the screen. Is anyone... Oh, apologies. Councillor Marsh?
Yeah, thanks. Can I just ask, is that amendment supposed to become the motion and then we vote on the motion, or is that okay? No? All right, cool. That's all right.
Yeah. Oh, Councillor Baker, you had your mic on. Sorry, I was just moving. Oh. Thank you, Councillor Baker. She's disappeared. Is anyone looking to move that staff recommendation for item 5.2? Councillor Smiljanek.
Thank you, Presiding Member. I'm happy to move the staff recommendation. Again, it's a document that is easy to read, easy to understand, and well done to the staff. Cheers.
Thank you, councillors. So apologies for the mix-up. So Councillor Baker did move that staff recommendation. So Councillor Smiljanek, would you therefore be happy to second that instead? Yep. Perfect. Is anyone else wishing to speak to that? Councillor Marsh?
No, I was just going to support it. All good.
Does anyone else wish to speak? No. Yep. Sorry? Yep. Councillor Baker, you have the right to close if you wish. No. I'll put that to a vote then. All those in favour? And those against? It's carried. A division was called by Councillor Halls. For those voting for the motion, please raise your hands. And that is everybody. Thanks. Cool. We will move on to item 5.3 on page 252, adoption of the 2026-27 Strategic Asset Management Plan. We have a recommendation in front of us. Councillor Smallwood-Smith.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the staff recommendation, and I don't wish to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Halls, do you wish to second?
Yes, I do, thank you. And I just would like to say that it's a well put together plan, and the team have done quite a good to put it together.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak? If not, the mover has the right to close if they wish. No. I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And those against? Declare it carried. All right, we'll move on to item 5.4 on page 306, and that is the 2026 confidential order review. We have a staff recommendation on the screen. Is anyone wishing to move that? Councillor Baker.
Move the recommendation.
Thank you. Does it find a seconder? Councillor Halls.
Yes, I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak or have any questions? No. Councillor Baker, you have the right to close if you wish. No. We will put that to a vote. All those in favour and those against, declare it carried. Now we'll move on to informal discussion, but obviously we have already dealt with item 6.1, so that means we'll move straight to item 6.2, being the City Operations Quarterly Update, and we have a presentation from Mr. Carter.
Give a quarterly update on city operations. So I'll just step through some of the activities that have occurred over the last quarter and then look at what to expect to see across the city over the coming few months. So first up, just got a high-level snapshot of our customer service data for city operations. So we've compared this quarter compared to the same time last year. So as you can see, it's actually pretty consistent, with what the patterns we see and the type of requests coming in. All but we do see an increase, consistently over the quarters and the year, trending upwards. But all in all, the request types and the themes and the suburbs where we get the most requests do stay pretty consistent across the board there. You've got probably in the top or the team CRSs, an observation there is the roads and stormwater, where we see a substantial amount of CRSs. That's probably a little bit doesn't tell the story. That's where our illegally dumped rubbish sits within that team. So high volume of those requests are not related to roads and stormwater, but IDR. And that it's worth noting that function is moving into our support services team in the coming months. So we'll be able to report on that differently. So I guess just high-level overview. It's all looking pretty good, and we've got a high focus on customer service, and the team do a great job in that space. Parks and verges. So over the last quarter, the team we're wrapping up the the fifth mowing round and also the slashing program. So started moving their attention to the maintaining the hedge lines and back fences across the city. So we've completed around 140 rear and side fence lines. So that's trimming vegetation and just tidying up those locations. Also had a team transition across to windbreak. So there was a lot of storm damage, that was present over the last few months. So they've had a real focus on cleaning that up, along with, just lifting some trees and, gaining better access for their machinery when the mowing season comes around again. And due to the weather we had, a lot of rainfall, but also the warm weather, we did have to move into a 6-cut as well. So that's our verge mowing program. So that's about almost completed, about 2 weeks away from wrapping that up. And team. So although we had a team kind of focused on that, we still moved some of the crews across to those other tasks, which were the rear fence lines and windbreak programs. And I've also just started progressing with our alleyway cleaning program. So numerous alleyways across the city, some being locked down and secured, others still accessible. So had a focus on cleaning them up, lifting vegetation, weed management, and just general path maintenance. And over the next quarter, expect to see us, we'll continue delivering the windbreak program. So, huge amount of area out there to cover, and lifting trees, pruning, that'll carry on. We'll finalise that verge mowing cycle with the 6 cut, and the alleyway and side fence line programs will continue as well. So business as usual there. So there's a couple of photos there just show one of the lockdown alleyways there that's a bit of a before and after. We don't necessarily get to those, especially locked ones, every year. So every few years we get around to them, and it makes a difference. Just a little bit of a highlight, the Parks and Verges team were involved in a Child and Family Wellbeing Day at the JMC a few months ago. So that was a fun night. So one of the highlights was the Touch a Truck event. So we had a number of our pieces of equipment there with our operators, and the kids got to interact, with some trucks and mowers, and it was a real highlight of the night. So I just thought I'd include that, and the team really enjoyed that, getting out and about with the community and showing them what they do and letting the kids interact with their equipment, machines. Verge landscaping and maintenance. I've had a few conversations with a couple of elected members here about this matter. It's a bit of an issue we're experiencing at the moment with just some inconsistencies with the verge treatments that are getting handed over across the city. So I guess our observation is probably some of the decisions that were made a number of years ago, we're just starting to see them filter through now, where we didn't have our urban design guidelines in place. So we were probably being a little bit inconsistent with our decision making and our application of our treatments out there. And as I said, they're starting to filter through now, starting to see just some inconsistencies, with the treatments out there. So some might be rubble, fine type treatments. There's turf or dryland grass verges, and we've got more bare earth, with weeds and that. So it is a bit of a problem. We're getting feedback from our community about it, and something that we're really looking into. So city operations, along with our city planning team and our compliance or regulatory services team, are coming together and working through that at the moment to, I guess, deliver a better outcome there. What we're seeing is, just like I said, the real inconsistency out there with the verges, and what we now need to do, we're going back and we're doing a bit of an audit of all the verges that have come over the last probably 2 years, and just doing a stock take of what we've got and what treatment we need to apply to them, and then we'll roll out some works there to tidy them up, and obviously deliver a better outcome for the community in that space. So but I guess I just assure you now, we've got the urban design guidelines in place, so we're making very consistent decisions now. Part of this review will be to, I guess, do a spot check on, the decisions we are making, and making sure that they're in line with what's best practice and how we can effectively maintain the verges across the city. So that's a piece of work that's occurring. You can see some photos there of what we're experiencing out there. We're getting damage from the builders as well. So there's this kind of awkward space where the developers go through their practical completion and final completion stage, and then the builders are still working there, and it's kind of no one's it's hard to manage that responsibility. So working with the regulatory services team and in that space to kind of get better, I guess, compliance out on the ground and monitoring in that space. There's another great snapshot of, in Angle Vale there, of, the 2 different treatment types that we're experiencing, pretty much around the corner from each other. And where, on the left there, we've got, nice stony fines, compacted verge, with the trees and mulched. And on the other side is a unstructured verge, which is, it's meant to be a dryland grass verge, but it's pretty much weeds, and it's harder to maintain and quite difficult for our team in that space. So it's a great example there. With we've spoken about this before, the irrigation conduit trials that we've been doing across, rolling out in Riverlea with the conduits under the footpaths, so people can uptake, maintenance of their verges. So we're bringing that to a head at the moment. All the materials being produced. So on the bottom left there, you'll see a photo of a bit of a plan to show people what to expect, you know, in their verges with all the services there, and yeah, how to navigate, you know, installing their own irrigation system. We've built a step-by-step guide how to access and identify the conduit under your footpath, and all that material is getting printed at the moment and will go out to our residents in the coming weeks. We've also picked another Dauntless Crescent in Elizabeth Downs, so we're going to do another whole of street trial there, and obviously an established suburb, and really engage with the community. And ultimately, we want that high uptake of people, you know, maintaining their own verges. So we've got a footpath program going through there. So while we're at it, we'll get conduits under the ground. We'll engage with the community, all the residents there, and really try to, you know, support them with upgrading and maintaining their own verges. And part of this, obviously, Riverlea and then the Dauntless Crescent example, we've got a structured, I guess, monitoring process in place to really measure the success of that, and yeah, we'll be able to determine, you know, what works, what doesn't, and how if we continue this across the city for future, you know, land developments and footpath upgrades. Support services. So we've, last quarter we finished our round one of the combined weed spraying program. So that's all the rubble verges, rear fence lines, mulched areas, traffic islands. You know, has a high impact on, you know, city presentation if it's not done, that task. The team installed 14 new park benches across Craigmore, Elizabeth Park. So they were really the benches that were vandalised or stolen last year, and it's been some time since they've gone through the insurance process and finally got them reinstated. And we got a replacement program for damaged side entry pits in place. So yeah, what we've got is the traditional side entry pits, which are a bit of a weaker structure, so we're replacing them with a terra firma design, which is more robust and able to withstand, you know, heavier vehicles and higher volume traffic movements. So that's been a great outcome as well. Over the coming quarter, the team will be delivering broadleaf weed spraying programs across all our irrigated reserves and sports fields. Got round 2 of the combined weed spraying program that'll take place as well. Footpath maintenance, and going to have a bit of a focus on bus shelter maintenance as well. So the team do a great job. You know, the photo there on the top's one that our team refurbished this year. But there's a lot of other bus stops that just need cleansing and a bit of gutter maintenance or general upkeep. So that'll occur as well. That's just a couple of photos. A photo on the left, just as an example, is that terra firma side entry pit. So it doesn't have the traditional central stem and 2 lids, which collapse with the heavy vehicle movements and just the sheer volume. So we're really trying to standardise this in intersections where, we get the heavy vehicle movements or a high volume of traffic, especially with developments, and easy to maintain and just more robust. And that's a picture of the benches we've replaced across the city. So we've opted for a kind of all-in-one moulded type welded bench. So doesn't have the the slats that can be removed for scrap metal. And although it could be still taken, it will be a bit more of an effort to get that removed. So fingers crossed that's a good outcome as well there. In the tree services team, so they've last quarter been focused with the Verge team on the windbreak maintenance. So that's a collaboration across 2 of our teams to support that. Within the mature tree area, they've pruned just over 7,000 trees. So that's pretty consistent across the cycles of our, the sheer volume of trees. So they've got to hit the marks pretty consistently on a daily, weekly, monthly basis there. We've assessed 10,600 trees. So within our tree maintenance teams and also our other tree technical officers, there's a consistent amount of trees that need to be inspected from a safety point of view. So that's over 10,500 trees have been assessed. And all that goes into our forestry system against every tree to monitor, what's occurred over the life. We've had 4,500 young tree maintenance activities completed. So, formative pruning in that first, 3 to 4 years. We really want to get the tree structure sound. So, it prevents, damage or issues down the track, which can end up being costly or cost the tree or needing it to be removed. And yeah, in the background, we've assessed 80 development applications which have been referred to the team for, whether it's DAs or native veg type implications. So yeah, it's probably something that doesn't get seen, but yeah, a lot of that happens in the background. Over the coming quarter, we'll start our tree planting program. So as I mentioned last quarter, we'll Manapara West, we've got a real focus on that. Yeah, and other areas across the city, but we've got just under 600 trees to be planted in that area over the coming few months. Mature tree maintenance is focused in the Craigmore area, and the juvenile tree team will be out weed spraying around our 1 to 3 year old trees. So really just trying to get the weeds, away from the roots, get that competition away, but it also helps the verge team with their mowing, so it keeps the mowers away and less damage to the trees as well. Couple photos there of some rural roads that were maintained over the last quarter. So Shillabia Road, the top photo on the left shows, heavy infestation of olives and exotics, and the below photo shows that's all been removed, and really opens up that sight line, and obviously has a lot of, biodiversity, natural, vegetation effects as well, positive outcomes there. So yeah, huge piece of work there, and yeah, we're trying to deliver these type of works on a consistent basis as well amongst all the other works. And then same on the right, just some sightline pruning and exotic vegetation removal as well, just to really open that up and create some road safety outcomes there. In our sports facilities, so we completed our first round of aeration program across all sports fields. So as I mentioned last quarter, we've got a new manager of sports fields, who's very highly regarded in the industry, and we're already seeing the results of that appointment, that manager appointment within the team. And so we've transitioned from our summer to winter program, so that includes all our line markings, our goal setups, all the artificial or gecko covers for our cricket pitches, fertiliser programs, and we've completed a full irrigation audit in preparation for the winter shutdown. And just highlighting the appointment of the new manager and that the team structure we've got there now. We're really starting to get a lot of positive feedback from our clubs, and really focused on working with our clubs, and developing that, kind of partnership approach. And really, we're getting some positive feedback. The Patriots really, sent us, a nice email recently, just noting the improvements of their playing surfaces, and that's consistent with a number of the clubs. Even a highlight, there at Anglevale, you can see the photos on the right where, we're traditionally, it's been very hard to kind of, flag off or petition, like goal squares, which are high wear areas, and just by simply establishing those really positive working relationships and demonstrating the outcomes for their playing surfaces and the benefits of that, they're supporting us all the way now and really embracing that approach. And the ovals have never looked better, I don't think, especially out at Anglevale, which is, one of our highest use pitches out there. And considering the time of the year, it's looking amazing because of the work we're doing and the work with the clubs there. Our main priorities for the coming quarter, so we're doing more detailed audits to inform upgrades and renewal programs, and looking at in the future a new control system across the board, which is more focused on that kind of AI type technology. So a huge opportunity to look at water saving and power savings there. So we want to explore that a little bit more for a future program, and we'll continue. We'll start our aeration program number 2 and gypsum application. So really focused on. We used to maybe do 1, maybe 2 aeration programs a year, probably trying to get up to 4 a year now. Really open it up, aerate the soil, get the oxygen in, and get the sodium out, leach that out. And what's that? It's increasing our playing capacity on the ovals, so we can have more kids and participants on the ovals without reducing the impact on the turf. Just some photos there of the far left aeration program in place. The second in is the gecko covers going down. So what we do there is we have, instead of putting the old soil and turf over the cricket pitches in the off season, we've got these covers now which are fully compliant and meet the standards for impact there. So they go down on a number of our pitches, and just some out of field type maintenance where we've got some overseeding and top dressing there occurring to improve the surface. In our civil infrastructure area, we've just ongoing is the continuation of our unsealed road maintenance program, so that it goes right throughout the year. So there's been a focus on the One Tree Hill area, Humbug Scrub, number of roads out that way. Site entry pit and drainage cleaning program. So we've inspected 325 pits over the last quarter. 150 have been completely cleaned. We've done about 12 kilometres of open swale drains. So that's inspected and or cleaned as well. So that's a slow process with machines, just to open them up and remove silt and sediment and keep the water flowing there. Heathslip Road, actually that's a Heathslip Road footpath maintenance. That's a mistake in the slide. That's actually coming in the coming quarter, but we've got some work along Heathslip Road, so that hasn't occurred in the last quarter. And the photo there with Andrew Farms Wetland installed with the water team a silk curtain there just to help with rubbish management there. So that's I guess a great little piece of infrastructure to help will restrict the flow of rubbish into and sediment into the wetlands. So really that's on a monthly inspection now to maintain that and clean it. So and also pre and post weather events, we'll keep an eye on it and make sure it's set up and clean and ready to function as it's designed to do. Main priorities over this coming quarter, so we'll inspect and clean approximately 18 kilometres of open swale drain. Following that program, focus on the Angle Vale area. Site entry pit program, so we're scheduled to be in the Ayr and Virginia area with that program. And our unsealed road maintenance will carry on. So we've got we'll proactively program. We've got 8 kilometres of unsealed road there to be patrol graded, and in Angle Vale, Sampson Flat and Gould Creek. And on top of that, we'll have our reactive program, especially coming into the winter months where obviously the rainfall can wreak havoc on our unsealed road network. So we've got to be responsive to that to maintain traffic and the safety of our community. There's a few photos there of some of the drainage works that have been occurring. Obviously all the encroachment of kikuyu and grass there, and just head walls and pipes there. So a bit of a before and after shot on the left, and the same on the right there with a drain there which has been cleaned and is functioning as it's intended to. IDR, obviously, it's been a service which has been in focus over the last few months, mainly because it was out of service, as we've communicated to this group here. So we've put a lot of effort into this over the last few months, and happy to say that we have really stabilised that service, and we're consistently operating within that 0 to 10 business day target with our requests received. What we've done is we've developed quite extensive dashboards in the background, scoreboards type situation where we can really monitor our progress. So it's really improved our visibility and to track and monitor our performance there. And we have continued to increase our resourcing there from within our city operations team, just so that because we've got good metrics in place now, we really know what resource we need on a daily, weekly basis, and we continue to apply that resource to ensure we meet our service targets there. So a key observation is the improved visibility really has enabled consistent and predictable performance within that service there, and it's something that the team are quite proud of the work that they put into that, rightfully so, to stabilise it, and it's a daily occurrence now. We really monitor our performance there. So next steps in that, we're transitioning to a digital field-based data system, so that it's still quite paper-based, so we've got that set up now where the staff on the ground will operate via tablets, and it'll real-time data, but also in the back end it stops that workflow of paper coming in and out of the system, which is resource intensive as well. So we'll continue to enhance that, and we're also embarking on a bit of a deeper review of our IDR and hard waste service, just to explore it a bit more and what the needs of our community are, and what we can do to be a bit more innovative and contemporary in that space. That's just an example of some of the dashboards that we've set up in the background. So I'm not sure if you can see it too well. So within that, this was taken as of the 2nd of June last week when we did drafted this up. So as you can see, within that 0 to 10 business days, there's 107 requests in the system. And just sitting outside of that in that 11 to 20, there's only 4 requests. So yeah, a number of months ago, like right up to the 50 plus business days, we had quite a number of requests sitting in there. So very rarely, we consistently have like a few sitting in that 11 to 20 days, but within the last couple of months, we haven't had really any sitting outside of that. So as I said, we've really stabilised that service now, and a lot of effort's gone into that, and to understand what we are experiencing across the city there. Parks and Gardens. So last quarter, the Parks and Gardens team carried out landscape and planting programs. So 600 plants went in the ground. Mulch works, you've probably seen along Curtis Road. Over the last few months, we've been chipping away at mulching that. It's not a simple task, with the hours we can work there and traffic management required, and just getting the mulch delivered to the site. So we've had just under 1,500 cubes of mulch laid so far along there. And it's really just to try and tidy that up, and doing irrigation audits as we go, and with the view of maybe doing some, spot planting in spots. We're not aiming to replant the whole street, but want to look at just keeping it tidy and where it needs to be. They'll be looking at optimising their weed spraying programs across like all parks and gardens. There's woody weed controls occurring, and like the sports field team, they've also done their irrigation audits and management in adjustments in preparation for the winter shutdown program there. Just a few snapshots of some of the photos there of some of the works the team do. Obviously the works I've mentioned, that's on top of just day to day, the 1,200 hectares of open space we have across the city. It's a relentless never-ending task, just keeping on top of the maintenance, and got a super passionate team out there, and do a great job. So over the coming quarter, we'll complete that mulching across Curtis Road. I think that's tomorrow, actually, that's meant to be occurring. We've got Elizabeth Way here. We've got some more plantings in the centre medium there. Just ongoing scoping up and procuring plant material for our parks, and broadleaf weed control in our turf areas. As I mentioned, the support services team helped deliver that. There's just some photos of some of the other parks areas or open space areas the teams maintain. There's some fence lines there where the vegetation's been removed from the fences, just to open it up and increase passive surveillance and pedestrian safety there. So just new parks and playgrounds. So I'll just flick through a few of these. So Virginia Lake, this has been handed over in the last quarter. I guess, while I flick through these, just a reminder, we do have like the City Operations Workforce Plan in place, which really, focuses on, what our resourcing and, I guess, equipment needs are to, maintain these new gifted assets. So that's a key piece of work that I, really focus on, is making sure that, we're doing the work, in line with these new developments coming on board. And it's not just the open spaces, there's, with every development, there's roads and footpaths and, all sorts of infrastructure. So it's an exciting journey we're on, and, the workforce plan, it's a great little piece of work that's been done, and, really supports, these gifted assets that, we're taking on a regular basis. So, it's quite exciting for the team, and, quite unique, it's not a static council, which a lot of councils out there are. So, it gives, something for the teams to should be really proud of, So you can see there's quite a few in the last quarter there. Uplift work, so we're finally, that Haydown Hogarth roundabout's been completed. So if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a drive by. So it's, it's quite simple, but effective. big outer perimeter of compacted fines that allows us to really safely mow it and keep the staff and the equipment away from the vehicles. Yeah, large turf area, high impact, and then there's some trees planted in the middle as well. So, and then the Haydown Mofflin, that's well, the perimeter concrete's all done. We're just waiting on the SA Water meter to go in, and that should be completed very shortly, in line with the other one. So I think that's a great outcome, and super effective, like simple but effective. I've been worked with the Lions Club there in a bit of an adopt a spot project. So that was in the Elephant Walk there in Smithfield. So it was really about bringing the community together and looking at enhancing an area and getting the community kind of taking a bit of ownership and kind of increasing the presentation and safety along that space. So that was a great little project, and it's ongoing as well. A few other photos of the Elephant Walk there, some of the path upgrades and just general tidying up. Planning's still to come over the coming, I believe, month or two. That's it. That's a bit of a snapshot of city operations over the last quarter and what to expect over the next few months. Any questions?
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Monks. Yeah, the long list of duties that you've got to do. Are you moving towards reviewing our footpath maintenance in regards to grinding and considering bringing in-house grinding? I'd be very interested to know what we pay a contractor to do and how much output that actually delivers versus if we had full maximum control of that service line, that we get to dictate when someone goes in with the right skill set, or if it's cheaper for us to have it in-house, we could double the service delivery of grinding. So I just don't know. I'd be very interested in knowing, as we continue to evolve, can we be less reliant on external contractors and be more reliant on in-house staff if they've got the quals?
Through the chair, thanks for the question. It's something that Janie and I have started talking a bit more about, like our asset footpath audit data, and using that to its I guess full advantage. So with that comes a lot of I guess defects and trip hazards. At the moment, we do we contract out a lot of that, and and we haven't really looked at whether we bring that in-house or continue to outsource it. At the moment, but it's in line with all our service reviews. We'll get to that, and it's become quite a specialised piece of work, footpath grinding, and a lot of councils do contract it out just from a pure safety point of view and exposure to like the silica and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good technology now which can make it quite safe and efficient if you've got well-trained staff. So definitely can explore that.
Yeah, and again, on your list of stuff, have we looked at new technology for potholes? So instead of just going with a bag of bitumen and whacking it down with a shovel and hope to God that it works, have we looked at new technology, if it's heavy vehicles, whatever, that are out there and are more broader and provide a better return for money when it comes to potholes and repairs? We don't necessarily just go and put cold mix down and whack it and hope for the best. We do have a process in place, and it depends on the situation. We put like the emulsion down, like the tack, and we'll clean out the holes and try and get like hot mix down and properly compact it where possible. There will be times where we just need to get like cold mix in the ground quickly, and hope for the best, or intend to go back and get it fixed properly. So there's a few different practices we have out there within our team. So we haven't really investigated any other options at the moment. It'd be interesting to see what other tech is out there that can be utilised.
I think it's all in the prep. It's how you prepare the pothole and to get it set up to hold and succeed.
I just don't know if our current practice is, but we'll leave it to the experts. And encouragement for our own staff. So we have hundreds of movements of our staff and vehicles out on the roads daily with utility utes, trucks, heavy vehicles. Do we encourage proactive reporting from our staff? So if they do drive down a local road and there is a trolley sitting there, there is some rubbish, there is some illegal dumping, do we actually proactively encourage our staff to stop grab those items, put them in the back of the ute and bring them back to our depot. I really feel walking the streets, we don't do enough of that, and that's no disregard at all to our staff, because they might be based on time. They've got to get to a job by a certain, or there's so many jobs in a particular day. I'm just interested to know, is there a baseline agreement over every senior manager that, yep, we're happy if it takes them another half hour to go somewhere to deviate, to uplift the city presentation? Is that enriched?
Yes, good question. Yeah, we do. So I've just recently been around to the toolbox meetings with I think most of the teams and reiterated that, the expectation is that you do stop if there's a limb down on a footpath, or just an easy bit of rubbish to pick up. Like, that's the expectation, and it is changing those behaviours. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but us and I've got 4 of my managers here tonight. We definitely encourage that, and that is what what we're advising our staff to do. So we will continue to do that. And hopefully, and with the aim to change behaviours. They do go out at the beginning of a day with a clear set of tasks to do, and it's the expectation is they get them done, and but we still at the same time say just slow down. If you can make something safe, by all means do it.
I just don't know if it's got down the grassroots or if that environment or attitude has changed yet, to be perfectly honest.
It's definitely changing in some of the teams, and with some of the operators,
Councillor Kerrison.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, and it's always good to see the level of work going on behind the scenes, and there's a lot there to handle. I think one thing that really concerns me is the potholes, particularly in the rural areas, and I do question, are we internally reporting those as well? My question tonight is, do we have a turnaround time on those potholes generally or not?
Through the chair, thanks for the question. So, do we have a turnaround time? Is that the question? Yeah. If it's deemed urgent and a safety hazard, we definitely aim to get them done within 24 hours. I guess that's open to interpretation as well. What's deemed a safety issue, but we very much have a proactive inspection program. So, due to the recent wet weather we've had, we've got teams out, or officers out there proactively inspecting all of our hotspots and compiling lists. So, it's over 900 kilometres of road out there, where it's a large task to fill the potholes, especially after the weather events. So we very much focus on inspecting and prioritising based on that.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's good to hear. I just probably highlight that I think there's a couple of roads, Gorlewantry Hill Road, Ewley Road, a couple of those that they're seasonally a concern every year. And it was reported to me that there's up to 6 cars pulled over after hitting potholes the other day on Gorlewantry Hill Road. So when I hear that, I get concerned. And potholes just aren't, illegally dumped rubbish upsets everyone. But these potholes are actually a safety risk as well. So I just want to ensure that we can be more proactive in those spots as well.
I did receive a phone call about that one, and after hours, and from the MFS, and I referred that to our after hours crew, but they were already on their way because they'd received a call as well. So that opened up very quickly and was quite deep and dangerous.
Are there any other questions? If not, I just have a couple of questions. Just on the verges in new estates handed over to the council, I know you mentioned works being done sometime soon to tidy them up. I just wanted to know more about what that entailed.
Through the chair, thanks for the question. Luke, with his team's doing audits as we speak. So he's going through suburb by suburb and making a list of all the works. And in the off-season, which we are now with our mowing program, they've got crews that will be starting to do all the higher priorities areas, which probably unsightly or dangerous or hard for us to maintain. So they're determining what the right treatment is. So if it's side fence lines, which tend to be like the harder areas for us to maintain, ideally we're looking at having them as compacted fines. Obviously, one of our standard is for verges to be grass or dryland grass. So yeah, it's just working through what those situations look like at the moment. So yeah, there's a lot of work happening in the background to inspect and audit those, and it will be ongoing for quite some time, and might be that we need to do a request for some additional budget to get these works done, but we haven't determined that yet.
Thank you. And just a quick question about the illegal dumping, because I personally thought the first slide showing the stats of the requests for rubbish cleanup of illegal dumping was quite high. I don't know if this sits within your team, but what are we doing in terms of surveillance for that? Do we have any existing surveillance assets within the council in hotspot areas, or are we just sort of relying on nearby houses or people to try and capture culprits?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, that's probably, we do have some surveillance out there. It's very limited, but that's part of that bigger piece of work we're doing. So it's about, we're not alone, like all councils are experiencing this, and well, not all councils, a lot of councils are. So part of our work that we're doing is to really look at what other councils are doing, and we're not alone. So let's learn from initiatives they've put in place to manage it, and understand kind of the behaviour that sits behind it, and what we can do to better support our community. And we've tried a lot of things, and we know that our hard waste surface has a high participation rate, yet we continue to see, as much as we promote that and how successful that is, we still continue to see our IDR grow as well. So we'll come back to the group at some point, and talk a bit more about waste management and what we can potentially do in that space. Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? If not, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 6.3, the quarterly capital projects update. We've got a presentation from Mr. Roberts. Great. Mr. Richter, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. You've got all four of us presenting tonight, and there's a range of projects. There's definition, plan, design, execution, and also completed projects. There's 35 projects we want to update elected members on tonight. So with that, I'll get straight into it. With the Anglevale Community Sports Facility, I think I updated the councillors last time that we'd had a couple of workshops with the sporting groups and the association down there. There are interim facilities that have been moved to the site, and there's also temporary facilities that are proposed for the site. It's true to say that I suppose the scope of works initially anticipated were not following those workshops, were not seen as addressing the real concerns of the clubs and the association. So we're sort of expanding the scope of the work down there to increase and deal with all of the issues the clubs are facing down there in terms of their change rooms, their social infrastructure, kitchen facilities. But there's also opportunity there with the community, the site for the community centre, which is located on the eastern or the right-hand side of that image between the dog park and the detention basin, how the community centre facilities can potentially combine with some of the sporting facility requirements down there to get a better outcome for the community, but also a more efficient outcome for the council. So we're exploring that at the moment. So the next steps on that is to confirm, I suppose, the operational model of the community facilities that we need to provide down there. And that will then inform the concepts that we prepare to address both the community needs, but also the sporting club needs. One Tree Hill streetscape upgrade, that project's progressing nicely. Oxygen is the consultant there. We have seen a couple of levels of preliminary concepts. We have the DIT project team assisting us with that, considering it's a DIT road, a blacktop road. We have gone back to the consultant with a few, I suppose, items for addressing. It's been through the internal team several times. We'll then, the next step for that is to forward those to DIT, their project team, that they have seen them, that we want to forward the, I suppose, the well-developed concept to them. Prepare cost estimates on those once they've provided their feedback on those, and then we'll be presenting those to the council at a future council information session. Heathslip Road, council was updated on this probably about a month ago. So that project's sitting there, it's well advanced. Without going through over everything again, the next step for that is to have a high level discussion with DIT in terms of the cost for that project, and seeing if we can come to some sort of funding commitment with DIT over the next little while. The Midway Road upgrade project, once again, that's progressing well. That's a bit under 4 kilometres of road that we're looking at down there. We have Sprout, the design consultant, helping us with those. And that's really to, I suppose, improve the functioning and the safety of that road is the big concern down there, considering it's such a wide road. And dealing with a few other things at the time in terms of pedestrian refuge and increase the tree canopy coverage down there. We have seen preliminary designs on that, and when I say preliminary designs, there's a whole bunch of options which come through in those preliminary designs. We workshop those internally to come to a preferred spot before then moving to a commencement of the concept design, which is happening imminently. So we will probably come back to the council with those concepts once they're prepared as well. Harris, Chevelle and Bubna Road upgrades, moving from rural to urban standards. We're at the point where we're ready to hand over those to Janie's team and detail to progress the detailed design and delivery. Once again, it's about 2 kilometres of road out there, various stages of development with all the private sector development happening around there and the various upgrades. So that will be handed over to Janie's team for detailed design next year. The Frisbee-Curtis Road intersection, obviously a major intersection out there. Where we're at with that is there's been concepts prepared for both a roundabout and a signalised intersection. There has been discussions with DIT. The preference is that is a informally that be a signalised intersection. And so what we need to do in terms of next steps is to have that confirmed with DIT before we then finalise the definition stage. Virginia Trunk Drainage System, so that's formerly the McAvoy Road basin and drain. It's a little bit hard to see on the bottom image there, but that's about, I think it's about 2.5 kilometres of drain going from the Nexie Basin through to Smith Creek. There are several detention basins already along there. This project is designed to formalise the best alignment of the swale connecting those drains to the outfall on Smith Creek. So we're finalising the definition phase of that, and we'll soon hand that over to detailed design. I think Matt's going to present on the next couple of slides before handing over to Janie.
Thanks, Vince. As previously outlined, we're continually working with our development industry for them to undertake key upgrades as part of their developments. They can typically do it cheaper and quicker than government. This particular intersection of Frad Road and Frisbee Road in Anglevale, the design, its upgrade proposal is for a single lane roundabout. Detailed design is now complete, and the Department for Infrastructure and Transport are working with the developer regarding encroachments on private land, following which we'll need to work with the developer to coordinate construction time frames and move to tender for construction. Another intersection we've previously provided an update on is Andrews and Curtis.
again, this is for a signalised intersection, inclusive of the duplication of that section of Curtis Road. Detailed design is almost complete. It's about 95%, and we are currently working through that completion, and it's working with the developer to progress those tender agreements to progress to construction of that, with budget commitments from both department and council.
Next one in design at the moment, so this has recently been handed over to my team. This is the Frad Road upgrade, so similar to some of the others which are in definition, this is a conversion or an upgrade from rural road standard to urban. So the project scope includes footpath, shed path, pit and pipe stormwater system. Where we're at now is we're currently preparing the documentation to go to tender, so we're hoping to call tenders for that design in the next couple of weeks. Frisbee Road has been in design for a while, so similar to Frad, it's a upgrade from urban to rural to urban, forgive me. Street cross section, so again, curb, channel, landscaping, lighting, footpath, etc. We did have a few issues to resolve with the stormwater design for this, but this is now progressing again. We're at 70% detailed design for this upgrade, and we're forecasting we'll have the 100% detailed design in August. Onto sporting infrastructure, Ridley Reserve club rooms. So the objective for this is to provide a regional level facility with improved spectator viewing capability, hence all the windows and the multi-sided two-storey building, and to also provide additional car parking on the site. The design for this has gone to tender. Tenders have now closed. We've just finished the tender evaluation, and that design contract will be awarded in the next week or so.
Is that using the existing club room and built above it, or is it a completely new building?
It's a complete knockdown and rebuild new building. Yep. Similarly, Dwight Reserve, knockdown of the existing facility and reconstructing a single two-storey facility. To also include car parking and stormwater management for that site. We've recently completed the final internal design reviews. The planning consent has been lodged, and we are forecasting that tender for construction will be called again in the next couple of weeks. Moving on to projects which are in construction. The Riverlea Sports Precinct Stage 1, this is being delivered by Walker Corp as the developer. The Stage 1 scope includes soccer pitch and multi-sport oval, lit car parking, and then all of the underground services, reticulation, and other landscaping, pathways, shelters, etc. We will also deliver, as part of this stage, some interim landscape treatments to the remainder of the site. So for those future stages which aren't being built yet, there'll be a landscaping treatment to make sure that that site is finished off nicely in the interim while we're waiting for those future stages to be triggered. In terms of where we're at, Catholic Education, their construction is going really well and it's on track. They're going to open their school for the first semester of 2027. For our works, it's a three-party involvement between Walker Corp Council and Catholic Education. The construction contract has now been awarded and works commenced on site on the 28th of May. So the contractor's current programme will see construction finishing in February, and we have a team that we're pulling together to monitor quality and progress during delivery of that project, as it's not being delivered by us. Mono Paris Sports Ground, we received a $750,000 grant from Power of Her. The ABP that has been an earlier agenda item tonight does include funding for Stage 3. That Stage 3 does include $3.3 million in funding from the state government. This scope includes the two soccer pitches, one oval, club rooms, change rooms, and the car parking and play space and amenities as part of stage 2 and 3 together. Status update, as you'll remember, stage 1, the kiss and drop, was completed last year. For stage 2, we are on site and the construction commenced on the 1st of April. The photo on the right is part of the preparation for pouring footings, so now it's stopped raining. Hopefully those can get poured. And stage 3, the detailed design is complete, so we are just awaiting formal adoption of the ABP to be able to award the stage 3 contract. We have 2 cemetery upgrades in construction this year, Yulee and One Tree Hill. The objective for Yulee is to create the placemaking, particularly with some information signage around the people that are located in that cemetery, and also paths and benches. The next steps, the path construction is underway. It has all been boxed out. It did rain quite hard last week, so there has been a bit of a delay, but the contractor is back on site now. With One Tree Hill, we've now awarded the contract, so those stormwater works will commence next week. Given that we did lose a couple of weeks, we probably are forecasting completion in early July now rather than in June. Sheedy Road upgrade progressing. This project is fully funded by Supplementary Local Roads and Roadster Recovery funding. And is a construction example of one of our upgrade roads when we're upgrading it from rural to urban standard. Again, including footpath, shared use path, curb and channel, lighting, and formalised pit and pipe stormwater system. We've been on site here since January. The western half of the project up to O'Loughlin Road is now complete through Coratina Reserve. We've moved on to the eastern section between O'Loughlin and Old Port Wakefield Road, with the road currently closed apart from local access. We're forecasting completion of this project in August. The 25-26 road programs, there were 104 projects in this program. One of these has been deferred. It was the design only for Stebburn Heath Road, which will now go through the transport strategy prioritisation as, again, a rural to urban full upgrade rather than a reseal. Of the 103 remaining, one is design only. There was 3 roundabouts and 2 unsealed road capping projects. 76 are complete already, and we have another 17 in construction, which will finish before the end of financial year. We do have a number of roads still on hold, mainly due to the interface that we've got with SA Water. So Douglas Peachy and President Avenue, which is one of the roundabouts, will be carried over into next year. And Morialta Drive is part of the code amendment. For next steps, we haven't yet started on site for Frobisher intersection upgrade. That start did get delayed. We are awaiting SAPN to disconnect some street lights for us before we can start on site, but we're hoping to start on site in the next couple of months. And the other ones, which I don't believe will finish this financial year, we are still waiting for SA Water just to finish their final works on Craigmore Road. Excuse me. They are still on site in the triangle that's adjacent to Bentley Road there, and also up at the roundabout. They are very, very close to completion, but they do need to do some commissioning work. So it involves, filling the pipes with your water and pressuring them and disinfecting them, etc. So I believe that us completing our reseal behind them, that will also push into July. 25-26 footpath programs. There were 47 individual projects here, 11 new footpaths, 1 design only. So of the 46 for construction this year, 44 are complete. The final 2 projects are underway and they will finish this month. So that will see us delivering 8.2 kilometres worth of footpath projects this year. On top of that, in addition to the many hundreds of curb ramps that we upgrade while we do roads and footpath renewal, we also separately do have the DDA ramp program, which has seen an additional 48 DDA compliant curb ramps constructed across 11 suburbs that wouldn't otherwise have been picked up with the roads and footpaths program. Next step for us, here we go again. So we'll start to plan the 26-27 footpath renewal program. Subject to council endorsement, obviously. We have, however, two footpaths in next year's program which are eligible for us to apply for the State Bicycle Fund, so we have submitted 2 applications for those, subject to council adoption of the ABP. I'll hand over to John.
Thanks, Janie. Okay, for the 25-26 building renewal works, in construction phase for the listed projects, Mofflin Reserve change rooms, Broadmeadows access compliant facilities, and the POC depot, the perimeter fence and female amenities. These projects are all due for completion by the end of the financial year. The toilet blocks at both Stebbin and at Coonabarra. Fencing went up today for Stebbin. We expect demolition to commence tomorrow. Temporary facilities are in place, particularly for the park runs there. We still expect that to be completed, fingers crossed, end of this month or early July. Coonabarra, the works is delayed slightly by 2 to 3 weeks, but we're still hoping that they will be completed by July or August. Moving on to the Playford Water Expansion Project, the contract has been awarded for the supply and installation of the retic pipe. Contract has been awarded for the Mofflin pump station upgrade. That's a new larger tank going there, a shed and also the control panel there. And will we be approaching the market for customer connections in Q1 of the 26-27 program. Just move on to completed projects. So this is the LED sports lighting projects at Anglevale, Virginia at Anagana Park, all lit to match conditions, so now they can play night games there. Those lights are more energy efficient, so it will save clubs some coin there from energy prices. And also the LED fittings last up to 50,000 hours, so it will certainly outlast me. I won't need to replace those fittings, so that's good news all round. The temporary change rooms. I'd like to also mention in one of the slides that Vince mentioned the temporary change rooms going out to Anglevale. We've put the hire facilities already there, so they've got already hire facilities there for this season. The temporary facilities that are in the annual business plan for council to purchase those, similar to the ones that we've delivered at Playford Patriots at Ramsey Park. So that's the home and away change rooms. They're all incorporated, so the change rooms, the showers and the toilets are all in the one facility. Not like the hire facilities where you actually have to get a shower block, then also the toilets. They're all in one. Ramps have been designed so they can be removed and they can be taken to the next site. So multi-use there. UniHub, I thought I'd include that one whilst I did miss the last updates. It is obviously an interactive study space based at TAFE SA. Really pleased how this has turned out and believe that there is now 161 members signed up there, which has already exceeded the expectations. So doing really well there. And I think Jodie is next. Thank you.
Thank you. Other projects finished in the last quarter or will be finished by the end of next week. Playford Tennis Centre court resurfacing. The acrylic surfacing needs redoing about every 7 or 8 years or so. Includes obviously the blue surfacing, line marking, and that gives us 14 laid out tennis courts and 8 pickleball courts. So works for that started in March and are complete this month. Mayfair Ride Safe Park was part of our Open Space Minor Works programme. So the scope of this was to provide partial fencing of the play space to stop kids riding their bikes onto the road. The existing gravel path was upgraded to concrete with associated pram ramps. There was bench renewal. And then our city operations team came and did a complete refresh of all the bark and mulch in the park to leave that looking really good at the end of that project. Stebburn Heath, Dalkeith roundabout. As you remember, that's almost entirely funded by Black Spot funding. The final price for that project was about 2.3 million, so each council contributed just $150,000 each for completion of that project, obviously joint with the town of Gawler. Record time delivery, done in 3 months, and was completed early. The Dalkeith Road resurfacing is in the programme for us to undertake in 26-27. We are getting prepared to commence that, but again, SA Water still have got Andrews Road intersection closed, so we don't want to cause more disruption than we need to delivering that resurfacing. Smaller roundabout completed this quarter, the Adams Jacaranda roundabout delivered as part of our ongoing road renewal programme. I've completed the McAvoy Road reconstruction and reseal. That's completed this month, along with Rhine Road reseal. And although the asphalt's been down for a while, the Supple Road upgrade was actually completed in May. There was some side swales and drainage to complete. This is an incredibly challenging project to deliver. I don't think I've ever seen a wetter subbase on any road that we've done. So very happy to be able to improve the stormwater on Supple Road. May also saw the completion of the Bentley Road capping project, so that converted this unsealed road to seal all the way to the Gawler boundary at Smith Road. School holidays saw us complete works outside schools, so the traffic management minor works projects, which included curb extensions and a median island on Turner Drive, and the Emu crossing on Maltara Road outside Munno-Para Primary School. And finally, Park Road Drain. This received $2.6 million grant from the Stormwater Management Authority and was a very long drainage project comprising a combination of pit and pipe in Park Road and also open swale. The top right photo is the culvert crossing overnight on Old Port Wakefield Road. And the bottom right photo, is it complete? That's what $4.8 million worth of stormwater looks like when it's finished. It's completely invisible and just looks like a footpath, but we know. Thank you. Any questions?
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Can I just ask, Frad Road, is that definition phase or construction phase, you said?
Design.
Design. Without going into any detail about Heaslip Road and what it could look like, how are we going out to design when we're not sure what Heaslip Road will look like, because that could have an effect on locations of car parking and what the design could look like on Frad Road?
Yeah, so we're currently preparing the documents for tender. We will stop short of the intersection though. So DIT will be upgrading the Heaslip-Frad intersection and we will stop probably 50 yards back from that.
All right, probably should be a little bit more specific. What parking options are we going to allow on Frad Road when currently Heaslip Road is utilised as a very large arterial road? And I don't want to speculate parking might go, but it might be a net loss.
Yeah, so we will work through that as part of the detailed design process. There's a standard cross section that we implement for detailed design. It will be very similar to this. Has a view on all of our cross sections as well when these are deed funded. So there's a standard cross section that's included in the scope. Any deviation from that, we'll need to talk to the department around what that might look like. But notionally, we'll be implementing our standard cross section, which I believe does include parking.
Parking and the right of way in and out of the sports centre as well.
We'll need to work through the detail of all of the access points during the detailed design.
All right, there was a motion to consider that as well, so from council. Thank you.
Great, I'll take that, thanks. Thanks, Clint.
Councillor Rentoulis.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Very impressive. It looks like we're actually getting through quite a bit of work, which is great to see. Fantastic. a couple of things. Very quickly, are we able to get a copy of the slideshow presentation, please?
Yep, they always issue to elected members after the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. And also, specifically with respect to Frisbee Road, Curtis Road, I believe the solution there with that really busy intersection is signalised lights. Would there be any, is there any concern that there's going to be sort of a backlog of cars that are going up onto towards the Nexi on Curtis Road? Is that something that's obviously been taken into account?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, it is being taken into account, and I think originally this was going to be a single lane, but that was not going to deal with the traffic volumes in that area, so that's why I suppose the project's been delayed a little bit. So a dual lane signalised intersection, and certainly moving up to the Nexi, that's all part of this design and also the work that did need to do.
So two lanes to turn right onto Frisbee. Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I'm not following.
It looks like yes.
Okay, and then a lane on the left-hand side for cars, commuters to go straight across onto Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Kerrison.
We mentioned the resealing of Dalkeith Road. I just wondered if we've received any traffic studies on Curtis and traffic volumes, because I'm concerned about with the Northern Parklands, all the planned future development. Has that been considered as maybe needing to be duplicated at the same time or not?
Sorry, for Dalkeith Road?
Yeah, so my question is regarding Curtis Road and the traffic studies and what we can draw from that, but also then furthermore, given the Northern Parklands and all the planned development, in my mind I'm just questioning if we're going to do Dalkeith Road, are we going to do it as a single carriageway or dual carriageway, and what consideration has been given to that?
Thank you. Through the Chair, yes, that's the right question to ask. That'll be picked up in the Cuddler structure planning exercise that the government's doing. We're not privy to that level of detail yet, but they are the questions that will be asked through that. In the interim, I mean, even if it is upgraded in the long term, in the interim there will still be a need to do some renewal works on that road, I think, as Janie said, next financial year.
Just to expand a little bit on that, we did do a previous presentation in an info session to elected members on that, providing some options where we either wait. The feeling in the room at the time and the option that we've gone for is to do a renewal project that's potentially stabilisation, and what that will do is that road will last definitely for more your 15-year time frame, rather than do something and over-invest in it now and do a normal renewal that would last to 25.
Councillor Marsh.
Just want to ask the CEO, so I'm happy to hold off in case anyone's got any questions. I just want to, if I can, through you to the CEO, ask a question.
Does anyone else have questions for staff? If not, Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Sam, I just want to ask the question to you. We've got consultation and energy getting put into the overpass on Curtis Road. We've had energy being put into Curtis Road and Andrews Road. We're putting energy into Curtis Road and Frisbee Road, and there's energy going into Curtis Road and Heaslip Road. Each and every one of these are demonstrating a dual lane component of concept. Is there at some point, us as a council can just highlight the amount of energy, funding and time by the City of Playford and or the state or fed, when we could have just done a whole of road concept design and just thrown money at a full solution? I'm so confused at every choke point we're doing individual pockets versus everything in between that is of the issue. And I know you're not going to have the solution tonight, but should have we maybe just considered ourselves as a council and gone, instead of contributing funding towards the Andrews and Curtis, Frisbee and Curtis, we've done the stormwater under Curtis and Heaslip, maybe we just funded a concept design for Curtis Road with all those missing links?
I guess that was an option for the council, but I think our position for a while has been that it's not actually in function a local road, and therefore we've deferred to the state, and we're aware that the state's been doing a concept. It seems a bit redundant for us to go and do a separate concept plan for that. So I think our strategy to allow the state to continue with the concept is the right one. I actually spoke to Minister Champion about this a couple of weeks ago and suggested that it would be great to be able to release the concept to the public, because I think the public would be very satisfied knowing that there's a concept in place, and there is a lot of energy, to use your words, and I think it's a good word for it. There is a lot of energy going into the road now, and there will be for some years to come. So I think the general public would be satisfied that there is physical effort going into Curtis Road. What I think everybody wants to know is that there is a plan for the whole thing, which is the exact conversation I had with Minister Champion, recognising that he's not the relevant minister for this. So I certainly am advocating that we can release the concept so everybody can just see it, and then we can focus on the interventions that are going into place. And the reality is you can't upgrade that road all in one hit. Anyway, it needs to be done in bits and pieces, and what's going on now will be significant work, which will create some traffic challenges for some years to come. I hope that's a reasonable answer to your question.
Any other questions in relation to the presentation? If not, we will move on. So given there are no informal actions, we'll move on to item 8, confidential matters, which are nil, which takes us to the closure, and I declare the meeting closed at 8:51 p.m. Thank you for your attendance.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.